Hello YouTube, Goddard Radio Mosky here again with another beer review for you, as is usual. I'm in Bamberg today visiting my good friends Daniel and Johanna, so a massive shout out to them and thanks for letting me stay with them. They both actually helped me pick out some really good Bamberg beers to review for you. So these ones that you're seeing in the next few videos are their recommendation and they're supposed to be really good, and Daniel has a really good knowledge of Bamberg beer, so we'll see how we get on with these. So for this one we're going to do one of Daniel's favourite beers. So this is the Mahrs Bräu, sorry. This is one thing in Germany I didn't realise. When you have B-R-A with the two dots and a U, it's Bräu, it's not Brau, which is what I thought it was before, because you have the AE sound, if you like, with these. But we're going to have a little look at Mahrs Bräu and look at their Ungespundet Hefetrub Kellerbier. And this one is supposed to be really good. It has really good ratings when I had a brief look on Rate Beer and Beer Advocate and stuff. This is supposed to be one of the best Bamberg beers, in fact. So as is usual with my beer reviews, I'll take you through a brief history of the brewery and tell you a little bit about where it's from. And as I always say, if you are simply just interested in the tasting of this beer, then just go on towards the second half of the video and you will catch that. So this is one of the oldest breweries in Bamberg, and it was actually founded in the year 1670, but before this, Peter Zweidler actually had plans for a brewery and a guest house, and these were included in the first printed plans of Bamberg that date back to the year 1610, and also the first mention of a Kellerbier brewed in the hills of Stephansberg was in this year as well, and this is where they have their beer cellar there still to this day. But actually 60 years later, this is when you had the first written down mention of the brewery, and like I say, it was founded in the year 1670. So in 1895 the mek-ju era began, and these guys still own the brewery today, this family. But this era began in 1895 when Johann mek-ju acquired the estate of Wunderberg number 10, which included the beer brewery and a beer cellar that was cut into the cliff rocks of the Stephansberg hill. But in 1908 the old brewery known as Brenner was actually knocked down, but it was later rebuilt, and today it's a preserved monument, this brick building. And this is one of the things with Bamberg, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a really beautiful old town. If you're in the Nuremberg area of Germany, you really need to come and visit Bamberg, one for the beer and two for the beauty of the place. A really awesome place to come and be. But the brewery apparently had its brewing licence rescinded because of a long drought during the Second World War and after the Second World War. But they were re-granted this licence once more in 1949. But 1957 saw a new generation of the mek-ju family take over the running of the brewery with Albert and Wilhelm mek-ju, and they established the company with the name Mahrs Bräu Bamberg Brothers mek-ju Partnership. And in 1971 the third generation of the family entered the fray when Ingmar mek-ju accepted the responsibility of running the brewery. Now in the 1980s, the brewery made adjustments to aid in the environmental protection of the brewery. A lot of the breweries in Germany really like to do this to help the environment. They're very proud of their regions basically. And they also underwent extensive rebuilding in 1985, and many of the old buildings of the brewery were actually restored. But they also revived the old tradition in 1988 of delivering beer by horse and cart, and they actually bought 4 horses and built a stable as well. And in the 1990s they introduced several automation methods to the brewing process, and they also participated in the Bavarian environmental program, issued of course by the Bavarian state government in Germany. But the brewery are also quite decorated, and they've apparently been honoured by the United States Men's Journal as the best brewery, and this happened back in 2007. And Ingmar mek-ju was actually presented with the Bayerische Bierordens Medal, which is an award of excellence given to Bavarian breweries, and this medal was apparently accepted on behalf of all Bamberger breweries. And they also won an award in 2012 for their environmental policies from the Bavarian government. So that's your brief history of the Mahrs Bräu, and I'll tell you the other beers that they do as well. There's some really good ones that you can get here. They have the Kellerbier, which is this guy here obviously. You can get the Pilsner, the Hell, the Weisse, the Licht, the light beer if you like, the Radler, which is the Radler is actually meant to be quite a nice one as well, I've heard that. You can get the ETA, which is a dark beer, the Bock beer, and also the Weisse Bock, which is, I really like the Weisse Bock style. I need to try and get more of these, so maybe I'll take one home. I don't know if I've got enough room to do that. But let's get on with the tasting of this guy. This guy is a 5.2% Kellerbier, and that just means it's unfiltered. And like I say, they had their rock cellar in the Stephansberg hill here in Bamberg. So let's get this guy open and see how we get on. I just don't want to destroy my the bottle cap of this guy, so let's just see. Let's try and get it open without damaging that. There we are. Got a little dent in the middle of it, but it's okay. Just to let you have a little look at the bottle cap there, as you can see, with the lights hitting that, that's the Mahrs Bräu bottle cap, and you can see the label here. It's actually quite a nice one. It's quite a nice old style label. You can see the women pouring the stuff into the barrels there, just pouring the beer into the barrels to mature, I guess, for a little bit. But it's a really nice one. You can see the medals here as well. I think this is the, oh no, this is the badges of the brewery. You can see Privat Brauerei Mikkel Bamberg. So yeah, you can see it there. Really, really nice looking presented bottle. A little bit of smoke in the opening, but let's get this guy into the glass and see how we get on. As I said before, I know I shouldn't use a Hefeweizen glass for this beer, but that was all that Daniel had that was see-through, and it's a Weihenstephan glass as well, so we know it's a good one. But in terms of the aroma with this guy, as you can see, it smells, the first thing I'm getting off it is it's quite a malty smelling beer, but you can see here, if I hold this up to you, I'll just do that so I can swirl it around a bit. There's a lot of carbonation coming up to the top of this guy here, and you can see it's slightly hazy as well. If I put my fingers behind that, you can just see the haze there. But a really nice looking beer. It's got a nice kind of white frothy head on it there. But in terms of the aroma, we can swirl it around a little bit. It's a big bready aroma, I would say, with this one. It's got a nice sort of grainy bready character to it, but it's really, really fresh at the same time, but a lot of bready character, definitely. It has the bready character has a little bit of sweetness to it, but it's quite cool because it has a nice, you can pick up the grassy citrus elements in the back as well, so it smells really, really fresh. But it's got a nice element of kind of aromatic to it as well. But definitely a big bready, yeasty sweetness to it. So let's get the rest of it out and we'll get on with actually tasting this guy. As you can see, there's the nice half-litre bottle all out. Yeah, really attractive looking beer. There's a little bit of sedimentation. I can see a few particles kind of floating around there, but let's give it a taste and see how we get on. You can see about a one finger white frothy head. It would have been more if I'd poured it all together, but I wanted to get the aroma of this guy properly. Yeah, this is really, really, really nice beer. A massive bready malt base. Yeah, it's definitely more malty than hoppy, but there is a nice sort of hoppy bitterness that lingers on the tongue after you drink it. Really, really good. Yeah, definitely there's a lot of sweet bready malt character and definitely some kind of doughy yeast in there as well, and there's a nice bit of cereal spice to it as well. I'm not sure exactly what cereal it would be, maybe some sort of grainy character, but there's a really nice bready malt opening to it with a nice bit of sweet kind of doughy yeast, and you've got that grainy spice that's just underlying it, and it makes it really, really awesome. But then at the end, it does actually have a nice, quite a big hop character to it. In fact, at the end, you've got a good blast of kind of grassy character. It's more aromatic though. I think the aromatic hops in this are kind of pushing through, and then you've got just a little bit of citrus underlying there. It goes from being nice, sweet and bready to go into a completely different kind of bitter beer, in my opinion. But yeah, it's quite fruity on the end with a good bit of aromatic hop, in my opinion. Really, really nice beer. You'll see that it goes from being a sort of heavier beer to being very, very fresh at the end. It's fresh throughout, don't get me wrong on that. It is a fresh beer all the way through, but it just gets, it almost goes from being almost from being a Helles beer to sort of more the sort of Pilsner beer, but it's a Kellerbier. It's a different style than that, but that's maybe a good way to describe it. It goes from being the sort of really bready, yeasty malt based beer to being a very, very fresh aromatic thing, and the change in this beer is quite a bit more noticeable than it is with other beers I've reviewed for you before. And it actually maybe has just a tiny bit of alcohol warmth with it, but it's 5.2%, so that's maybe a little bit of a unique thing about this beer. But yeah, this is an awesome beer, really really good. Kellerbiers are a really sort of gem, if you like, in Germany. Just unfiltered, and you get a lot of the really nice natural bready flavours. And as I've mentioned in numerous beer reviews before, it's something I really love about certain beers, is when you have that nice bready malt base, and this guy really kind of hits the ticket for me, if you like. Really really nice bready yeasty sweetness to it, with just a really well done bit of cereal spice, and then you move into the really fresh element of the beer when you've got a nice aromatic hoppy character with some citrus and grassy notes there, and that's what's staying with you in the aftertaste. The bready character isn't so much coming out in the aftertaste, it's definitely the sort of aromatic hops with the citrus overlying there, almost definitely. Yeah, a really really awesome beer, I have to say. If you get the chance, give this guy a try. In terms of the mouthfeel with this one, it's definitely a light to mid-bodied, it's somewhere in the middle of that, but it's actually very very crisp as well, and it has a nice little oily element to it, which suits the sort of, it suits the bready character well, and it makes the kind of hoppy aromatic character very interesting as well. They've got the mouthfeel of this guy just right. If it had the mouthfeel of a Pils, I think it would just be quite watery, I think, but it really isn't watery. It has that nice kind of slightly thicker consistency which you would expect from these Kellerbiers. So really really awesome mouthfeel in this sense. It's very fresh and it's very drinkable. You could easily sit in the brew pub and session a few of these, and the brew pub in Bamberg is actually quite cool. It's one thing they do have here is that you can take your own glass, or you can buy your own glass, and they've got a massive shelf where you can kind of rent a space, and when you go in, they just you just take your beer glass away from your shelf and drink it, and that's quite a common thing apparently in the Franconia region of Germany. I didn't know, and Daniel told me that. So well, basically, to tell you about this beer, really really awesome. If you like your nice bready and yeasty doughy flavoured beers, this guy is one to try. If you like, and also if you like the sort of aromatic citrus hops with grassy character as well, this guy is a real sort of combination of the two. It's balanced really really well. One of the nicest beers, in fact, that I've actually tried in Germany. So if you get the chance, check out the Mahrs Bräu and have a look at all of their beer. All of it is really really highly rated. When I looked at the Rate Beer website and stuff like that, you know, give it a try yourself. Come to Bamberg and explore the city. It's a really awesome place to go on a holiday, and I think there's 10 breweries here that you can go around. You've got Schlenkerla, Spezial, this guy, and a whole host of others. I will review some more of them for you soon. But thanks again for watching my beer reviews. If you do happen to have tried this beer yourself, please let me know in the comments section your own thoughts on it. This one is a really incredible beer. Check out the brewery website in the video description there. I'll also post links to my other Bamberg beer reviews as well when I film them, so check out those if you are interested. And please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Check out Mahrs Bräu and see what you think about this brewery. Come to Bamberg, visit it. So thanks again for your support over my 190 or so videos now, and I'll catch you soon with more Bamberg beer reviews and more other German beers. Cheers.